This is George. George cut his foot in a trial a couple of weeks ago, and it was doing fine, but has opened it up, and so we're now going to have treat the wound with honey, show you how to apply it, and some of the uses that it may have. So this is the wound here, and it's in an unfortunate place because every time he takes a step, the heel expands, so it keeps it opening and closing. He is race fit, so we can't really use any anti-inflammatories or antibiotics on him. So we're going to manage this with honey to make sure he can perform. So initially, I'm just going to take away some of the hair around the wound. Good boy. Hair, if you can get the hair away from the wound, it's a good thing, because in a wound like this, hair can actually delay healing. And then we will give it a little tidy up with some chlorhexidine. But if you're doing this with your own first aid kit, iodine wash is adequate. Alright, you want to have another look at the wound. So what you've got is a relatively clean wound, which is granulating nicely. Unfortunately, it affects the coronary band and goes across it. So in an ideal world, if we weren't racing and he wasn't sore, we'd probably sedate him, put some local anaesthetic and give it a stitch. But this will allow us to compete. Now obviously you probably won't have sterile gloves at your disposal, but just standard latex gloves will be fine if you're using a jar. If you're using the snap packs or the tubes, you just squeeze it out onto your hand. Let's take a reasonable amount, and what we just do, literally just place it in and around the wound. It's really important not to double dip, because if you put your finger back in the honey, you're potentially going to contaminate it. Now I'm just going to put a light dressing on here, which can stay on till he goes to do a race, and this will just help stabilize the wound. So this is just paraffin gauze, which is a good product. What we're trying to do with this here is twofold. One is to obviously hold the honey where it is, because if he's walking outside, it's a contaminated environment on the distal limb like that, and the other is to stabilize the wound a little bit. And when you're putting your bandages on, it's important when you're layering them always to keep on wrapping in the same direction. And a common mistake people make with this type of bandage, which is a vet wrap type bandage, is to apply it with too much tension. And also when you're doing a foot, if you do quite a few wraps of the circumference, they tend not to wear through it so quickly. And your bandage should be firm but not too tight so to be uncomfortable. George is racing tomorrow. As a first aid issue in the racing or performance horse, this will get you to your competition. You could then take the bandage off if you weren't competing in a couple of days and just keep on replacing that, and the wound will knit really quickly.